Danmirr Consultants and Professional Advice Bureau present Achievers.
We all dream of success and fortune, but not all our dreams come true. What makes our achievers' dreams come true? Our achiever today is world-renowned cosmetic surgeon and reconstructive surgeon, Dr. Mohammad Jawad. Let's talk to him about his journey to success. So good to see you, Dr.
Good to
Jawad.
see you. Nice to meet you again.
Same here. Dr. Jawad, you're the most recognizable name in the field of cosmetic surgery today. And in fact, you've been featured in various TV programs ranging from Channel 4 to a program in Australia called 60 Minutes. I believe there's a documentary being made on you in HBO. It's known that you have the Midas touch. In fact, maybe it's even fair to say that beauty lies in the hands of the beholder in your case. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. So, Dr. Mohammad Jawad, why cosmetic surgery? We have, a lot of Asians have children who are going into medicine. You see a lot of doctors who come from an Asian background, and they are going into orthopedics, or they're going into pediatrics or heart surgery. Cosmetic surgery, maybe not as popular. How come you chose cosmetics?
No, this is a slightly misnomer. Let me make a little correction.
Go on.
I'm a plastic reconstructive as well as a cosmetic surgeon.
Yes.
But in plastic surgery, when you do training, you do a lot of trauma, you do a lot of cancer work and reconstruction. You put the fingers back, you mend the broken bones with the free flap, etc. And you do a lot of developmental anomalies. And then when somebody has a lot of injuries, you reconstruct. And aesthetic or cosmetic surgery is part of the training.
Okay.
Okay? So it's not fair to just brand me as a cosmetic surgeon. I am, I think, a decent reconstructive surgeon.
Of course, we're coming to that. And of course, you specialize in burns, don't you?
But I do a lot of burns reconstruction, yes.
Okay. And who inspired you, Dr. Jawad, to become a doctor?
I don't think it was a matter of inspiration. I think it was a matter of choices when we were growing up in my part of the world. I come from a business family. My father, with his brothers, put up very early stages of textile industry in Pakistan. And I think there was a fear at that time that you cannot put we have 5 brothers and 3 sisters, so it's a big family.
Oh, big family.
My old man was busy.
Very busy.
Very busy. Kept my mom very busy. Yeah. But there was a view that if you put all the eggs in one basket, it's not a great idea. And the Russians were coming in the 70s. So the suggestion was either any profession would be a good idea. And I did not like enduring so much. The choices were very straightforward to go into medicine. But I didn't enjoy medicine till I was honest to God, till in final year.
Really? Because actually my next question was going to be that was the journey difficult? Because you have to study a lot.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And when does the studying stop? Does it ever stop, or you just keep studying throughout your life?
It changes. It just changes. I think it just modifies. So learning process is you have to follow a curriculum, which you have to get through the exams, and then when you start passing the exam, I actually failed as well, but I had to retake it. But once you get it right, then you said, I can do better. So if you have some inspirational teachers who actually inculcate that thought of that knowledge is good for you, whether it is medicine, surgery, or a different specialty, that makes you work slightly harder. And then when you choose your specialty, after you become an MBBS or doctor, which is just a bottom line of basic,
of course,
then you choose a profession or career you want to be, and then you have to start
all
into
over
that
again.
area.
Yeah.
And there's a training and there are more exams, etc., etc. So it's hard work.
You know, our program is called Achievers, and we all dream of success, but very few of us achieve it. And so I think there are people out there who wonder, like, why is Dr. Jawad and people like yourself successful? What were the key contributing factors to your success? It can't just be luck, chance, and accident.
Combination.
Really?
There's a combination. I think there's a plenty of evidence now that if you do things repeatedly for a longer period of time, there will be a tipping point, and then that would be your moment. They said the same thing about the Beatles. They say the same thing about Bill Gates. But when they started very young. And there's a 10,000 hours rule, apparently, in a scientific way, that if you've been doing something for those many hours, it's just a matter of time if you hit that. And when I ended up, so-called, again, in your definition, successful, I really don't know what it means.
You're very humble, Dr. Jawad.
I don't know.
No, you are.
Okay, there was a time when I calculated the timings. I had touched about 11,000 hours, operating hours. Okay. And when we got lucky with this one particular interesting case, a challenging case.
Now, Dr. Jawad, you've done a lot of charity work. We know that when the earthquake happened in Pakistan, you went there and you offered your services, did a lot of reconstructive work on the victims of the earthquake. You also work for the Acid Survivors Trust International. And however, the media spotlight came on you when you did the case for Katie Piper. And there was a documentary on Channel 4 called Cutting Edge. What you did for Katie was revolutionary. Now, could you talk us through that?
Katie Piper presented to us in April 2008. I was not on call. She came on a Monday night after being assaulted in North London. And I learned about it on a Tuesday morning. I was doing a clinic somewhere else. And I went to see her in the afternoon. So when I arrived and I saw her, I went to her room, I saw this fairly gruesome face, which has got no features. And when we inquire more about what exactly has happened, that was probably the most challenging case I had come across in my career.
Was it also the most horrific in terms of
and if you look at what has happened to put this poor girl, she was 23 that time, 23, 24.
It was her boyfriend who threw acid on her face.
Well, so-called boyfriend. It wasn't a boyfriend. She was a short-term, very strange relationship.
Rather ex-boyfriend.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. She started going out with this guy. But this is what we learned. We had no idea who this girl is, what exactly has happened to her. We knew there was an acid thrown onto her face. Who threw acid, why it was done, and what were the other things. We had no idea. So unfortunately, this happened to her. And when it happened on the face, your eyes become the victim too. So the eyesight, the face, the baggage with it, when we found out she was beaten up and then she was raped as well, the psychological baggage, it was so difficult. And that whole package became very, very complex. And with the view that Katie said that if I ain't gonna look like what I am, I'd rather be dead. So I said, hello, what are we dealing with? I've seen the results.
Completely demoralized.
So it was a very tough call. It's a very tough call.
But what did you do to her face? Because we know that some of the skin drafting methods you used were pretty amazing and very revolutionary. What did you have to do to give Katie her face back?
Well, I followed the basic principles in plastic surgery, for which I have. Maybe I was ready at that particular moment for this particular thing to happen. That could be my tipping point. I had been using a new generation artificial skin, which is a dermal product, a dermal matrix, for the previous year. And I had done about 10, 12 cases. So essentially my principle was very simple. I have to treat her very aggressively. Whatever the dead or dying tissue is, take it off, temporize it, preserve whatever you can preserve, and whatever is not healthy has to come out. So I was fairly aggressive in her approach. So I actually had to take her face off which was melted. So I took her to the theater the following day to just to test shave to make sure that we're doing the right thing, we have a clear, correct diagnosis under full anesthesia and a better control under controlled conditions. And we just did a test shave and another layer, the layer was going down, down, till we saw the fat. So essentially all layers of skin were melted away. So we temporized her 2-3 times, and then we went and spoke to her. I said, look, we got a problem, darling. But I had been very lucky that she trusted me, and I had been very honest with her.
But, you know, coming back to this whole problem of throwing acid, using acid as a punishment tool. In Pakistan and India, both these countries suffer from this gravely. A lot of women are victims of acid burn.
This disease is spreading in that part of the world. And I'm amazed how many emails I get from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, South America. Brazil is a common problem as well. And this has become a extreme sport activity by these weak character, which is men. And unfortunately, the victims are young women in sort of teens and early 20s. With no fault, the young pretty girls, and you know, and it's just heartbreaking how it has happened to them. But it's all planned, it's premeditated, so you go buy a planet and then you do it. And the reason they've been getting away as well is because the punishments are so poor.
But why doesn't the medical community put some pressure on the government, put some pressure on the policing that, you know, these people should be held accountable? You know, it's the easiest tool to punish a woman, just throw acid on her. It's, you know, it's...
It is not a punishment. She is a victim. And फैसा कुछ है कि बने अहले हविस मुद्दई भी मुंसिफ भी किसे वकील करें किससे मुंसिफी चाहें. These are tragedies, and then their families abandon them. They never get any justice in the courts. In fact, only luckily on the last month, I was in Karachi and we were operating. One of the patients I operated upon, her husband threw acid on her and her child was involved as well. And he got 37 years. Okay? There's another patient I operated upon, Zakia. Her husband got 2 life sentences. So the law is just changing.
Is changing.
So which is a very powerful deterrent.
What helped in getting that punishment?
I think there's a lot of pressure now. There's a couple of NGOs who have pressurized the parliament and the justice system to actually be slightly more proactive because this violence is becoming out of hand.
Yes.
Bangladesh, it was also a common disease. But they've been very good. And in the last 10 years, their incidence of acid burns have come down significantly. So there's a lot to learn from them. So hopefully, in the next few months, I am arranging a first international chemical burns meeting in Pakistan, which I'm going to invite people who have got expertise and a lot of experience dealing with this problem. So what we can learn from them and how best to actually approach. So this will be the first time it's going to happen. We haven't decided when, but so there's a law. Law is one component of it, but the access to the treatment is also not available for these people, unfortunately. So as a community, as a plastic surgeon, as a society, we also have to rise to our responsibilities.
Of course.
To look after them. I don't have to travel. I can't deal with it myself. And I think it's a collective effort we will be able to overcome this, inshallah.
We're just going to get back to this topic. We're just going to go for a short break. See you shortly. Stay tuned.
What fame? I'm not a recognizable guy, you know.
Totally, I agree. It's not bad for business. But if it becomes addictive, some people just don't know where to stop.
Listen, I am not going to be a judge here, all right? सुन वापसी अहद निभाने की खातिर मत आना. अहद निभाने वाले अक्सर मजबूरी और माजूरी की थकन से लौटना.
Danmirr Consultants present Achievers.
Welcome back. We're going to continue our very interesting discussion with Dr. Jawad today. Now, Dr. Jawad, you have done, wonderful things for burn victims all over the world. But after the Katie Piper case, the media spotlight has been on you, and, a lot of networks have been interested in you. So how has this changed your life in the spotlight?
I didn't change much. I was cool before. I'm still cool.
You're still cool. You still got it going.
I still carry on, do my work. But what I always.
But
this is not the first time.
Fame does affect people, doesn't it?
Rubbish.
Really?
Maybe. Really? I don't know. What fame? I'm not a recognizable guy.
Just how you're getting there.
Well, inshallah, I hope so. But I am getting there for something which I hope in a good way. Not that I've developed something which is beneficial for everybody. It's as a community, as plastic surgery. So it's a new platform. We raise the bar that these victims say. But interestingly, you know what? My thinking process in looking after Katie was my cosmetic surgery training.
Yes.
To create a three-dimensional harmony, normality, and better than normality if possible. So that thinking process, along with you have to be meticulous with what you deliver. If you have a decent combination of both, you almost guaranteed a decent result. Honestly, I'm not joking. And this is it's part science, it's a lot of art, but it's a combination. So I think I've demonstrated that has help.
Now, do you feel, Dr. Jawad, that the media glorifies cosmetic surgery these days?
What's wrong with that?
There is no dark side to cosmetic surgery, Dr. Jawad?
Of course, yeah.
But
Maybe.
don't you think that it should be controlled? I mean, cosmetic surgery at the end of the day is a medical profession. And sometimes people can go to extremes.
Well, listen, I am not going to be a judge here, all right? I respect my signature, seriously. So when any patient carries my signature, whatever work, that's very sacred to me.
What's your signature?
The quality work, results, limited, the expectation has to be managed, and what I can promise, I deliver.
But then you have programs, Dr. Jawad, like, now I don't know if you've heard of Bridezilla. Okay, it's a program in which these brides are competing for bridal plasty to get cosmetic surgery. I mean, it's like, the America's Next Top Model, there's a competition. Now these brides get together and they compete for cosmetic surgery. And some people think that, then you have cases like extreme makeover, but from extreme makeover, it's gone up to bridal, Bridezillas. Do you think they're taking it a step too far?
I don't know. Listen, I would be the last person to be judgmental about it, frankly speaking. Okay, there are people who have extreme views, and they're willing to take those risks. I can assure you, none of us as a plastic surgeon, it's not part of a training, do a bad job voluntarily or wants to do. Okay, there are limits. Things can go wrong, but that's not the planned thing.
Of course.
It's a risk and complication. It's a cost-benefit ratio. You discuss what you're looking for, and sometimes it goes wrong. But having defined that cosmetic surgery, they're going too extreme, it's a difficult one.
One question that I find very intriguing, and I'm sure people out there also wonder, is cosmetic surgery addictive?
Can be.
Really? Why is that?
Okay. You know what is something very common in cosmetic surgery? I do a lot of this work. I've been doing it for many years now, and I've got a few hundred cases. If you do a breast augmentation, somebody is very pretty, beautiful job, except she's very uncomfortable with herself. The body image is very important. And because there's inadequacy somewhere in the body and it's fixated and it's fixable, you see the transformation. A complete transformation. I mean, the smile you cannot wipe out of these girls, to be honest. I'm really, and they are perfect in making you feel that you've done a good job. But
of course.
What has happened that, of course, you have physically changed things, but the effects are far deeper. their confidence level goes up, their personal personality changes, their interpersonal relationship improves, whether they're with their partners, their husbands, their children, their friends. Professionally, they do start doing better, etc. So there's a life-changing events happening. And then you say, I had 3 things which I wanted to do, at least I got 1 done. It has done such benefits. Maybe I'll try the 2nd one, maybe the 3rd one. So if
you just don't want to get away from the euphoria you feel from the first surgery. You just want to continue on that pattern.
Well, I'm not going to discourage that, by the way. It's not bad for business.
No, totally. I agree. It's not bad for business. But if it becomes addictive, some people just don't know where to stop.
No. I think addictive in a sense that, okay, when you do some work and it needs a bit of maintenance, that is not addictive. It's you like certain looks and you want to maintain those looks. I remember when I was training in '98 with my cosmetic surgery, and we had one lady who would come every year for something.
Okay.
And my boss would say, oh, she's back for her MOT. I thought it was funny. But she did not require too much work. Everything was good.
Yeah.
But she
just a little nip and tuck.
Literally. And that's the name of my company.
Of course, your surgery is called nip and tuck surgery.
Yeah.
So is the quest for beauty worth the risk?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. I think you say in a controlled manner.
Yeah.
I think it is fine. It is fine.
Because of course, in a controlled manner, and you forgot one very important point, with the right cosmetic surgeon. Because there are lots of surgeons out there who, don't do the right job, or perhaps are not qualified to do the right job, but say that they are. We just had a woman who died last week in the UK who went for bum implants.
In the US?
In the US, but she was from the UK, and she died.
Yeah. Shit happens.
So
that should never happen. Cosmetic surgery is not a life-saving surgery. That's a huge price to pay for anybody for any particular procedure.
But there are lots of people who go to a cosmetic surgeon for a facelift, and then they come back, with the face pulled tightly across their face. It doesn't look natural. How do you find out who's a good cosmetic surgeon and who's not?
Ask for the results.
Because when you see the pamphlet, Dr. Jawad, they actually have beautiful faces in every pamphlet.
You should insist on results. I do not say, look, I am the best surgeon in the world. Look at my results. My website is full of my results, and I've got all my pre and post-op, and those are my only testimony. Outcomes. This is how you measure outcomes. The results, the end product for which you being. They pay a lot of money to us, and I think it's a serious responsibility to do a good job.
Dr. Jawad, have you ever considered getting cosmetic surgery yourself?
I have. You don't know where to start from.
Oh, come on, please.
No, seriously. Okay, I'll tell you, I admit.
Yeah.
And I'm a great believer. Actually, I went for a training for a Botox, okay, and this is now a few years ago. So one of the nurses was there, said, actually, I think you need one. I said, really? He said, yeah. So why you say that? He said, your expressions are so horrible, etc., etc. I said, fine. So I became the guinea pig there. So I lied on the table, and they were all plastic surgeons who were also in training, and I knew some of them, my senior. And Anthony Arian was a great plastic surgeon in Cambridge. He did that for me. And they all were teasing me. They said, you know what's going to happen? Your expression is going to be gone. So you go home, you shout at your woman, she ain't taking you seriously. Your bunches are not taking you seriously because you've lost that anger. It just softened it, to be honest. So I liked it, and so I get my Botox.
Because American doctors, I think they do go under the knife. They have the perfect veneers, the tight skin. Have you noticed? Especially in LA.
Yeah, LA is California, the
it's like
weather,
a little plastic
the Hollywood.
society.
It is.
Now, Dr. Jawad, do you ever get a God complex?
Never.
I mean...
God complex? What
Dr. Jawad, no. The God complex in a way that when you did Katie Price, you were everything. Katie Piper. She thought you were a hero. A lot of doctors are built up. When you save someone's child, people hero worship you. So it's fair to say that some doctors tend to feel that yes.
No. I think there can be a momentary lapse of judgment. You may see, oh, I feel good about myself.
When someone's life and death is in your hands
don't think,
and you save them from a near-death experience, you feel like God.
I think it was the team. It was not only me, frankly speaking. Okay. I may be the component of that, but it's a team effort. Chelsea was fantastic. The whole team, my colleagues were fantastic. Okay, my registrars were fantastic. We worked together. We laid it out. Okay. I executed, I accept that. I was a team leader, and I take all the credit unnecessarily, but it's a team which we collectively helped Katie.
Any regrets, Dr. Jawad?
Touch wood, no.
Really? That's fantastic.
No.
That's fantastic. And what does the future hold for you?
Future is bright.
Future is bright.
Very bright.
That's the best answer you could have given.
Future is very bright.
Now, Dr. Jawad, the next thing we're going to do is called What's on Your Mind. Very simple. I'll give you two choices. They may not be very pleasant choices, but you have to pick one.
Okay.
Should we start?
Okay.
Tummy tuck or nose job?
Tummy tuck.
Bottom enhancement or brain surgery?
Bottom enhancement.
Halwa puri or French toast?
I think at this stage of my life, French toast.
French toast. Hair transplant or toupee?
Toupee, no transplant.
Now we're talking about Sherry Blair. Snog and marry or take to dinner?
That's a difficult one. Can I say none of the above?
No, Dr. Jawad, you have to pick one.
Take her for dinner.
Take her dinner. You know, it took a long time to decide that, by the way. Anyway, moving on. Godfather or Father Christmas?
Father Christmas.
Doctors or nurses?
Doctor.
Gynecology or psychology?
Gynecology.
At Prince William's wedding, desi or black tie?
If I get invited, or black tie.
Black tie.
Yeah.
And, well, good choices, I would say. But Dr. Jawad, we believe that you love listening to ghazlein and you like poetry.
Yes, I do.
So if you could be kind enough and perhaps recite some poetry for us.
Okay. There's something which I always felt was very close to me. I hope I have got it right. I think it's Faraz who said it. Faraz was in exile for many years, for a particular reason, and this is in love of his country. Okay, and I think we all become slightly patriotic when you're out of the country. I've been out of the country for nearly 20 plus years. But one of the beautiful things about the migrant population is that even after 20, 30 years later, they say, hey, I'm going home.
Yeah.
This is the only good part of it. But this is something which is touching me a lot these days, and I'm working on it, that उसने कहा सुन वापसी अहद निभाने की खातिर मत आना. उसने कहा, उसने is actually the mother country. सुन वापसी अहद निभाने की खातिर मत आना. अहद निभाने वाले अक्सर मजबूरी और माजूरी की थकन से लौटा करते हैं.
Okay.
तुम जाओ दरिया दरिया मौज उड़ाओ, जिन आँखों में उतरो जिस दिल में समाओ, मेरी तलब आवाज़ ना देगी. लेकिन जब मेरी चाहत की लौ की लगन इस कदर तेज हो जाए, दिल रो दे, तब लौट आना.
Oh, beautiful.
It touched me.
It is beautiful.
All the time. I think about it. I said, the romance of the country, the people you grew up with, the matti is very powerful.
And Jawad Sahab, you have made your country proud.
Well, I am very proud to be that part of the world, and I hope that we'll continue to do some decent work in life.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you
it's
so
a
much.
Pleasure to interview you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have this chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed our program today with Dr. Mohammad Jawad. and our insight into the world of cosmetic surgery. We'll see you next week with a new achiever.
Danmirr Consultants and Professional Advice Bureau present Achievers.